Hello everyone, my name is Alexander Kazina, aka Kozibear, and I'd like to thank you for joining me this evening for another installment of Season 5 of Kozibear's Cooking. Tonight we are going to be making NANAIMO ice cream bars. Here's what Wikipedia has to say. The NANAIMO bar is a bar dessert that requires no baking, that's right, no baking, and is named after the Canadian city of Nanaimo in British Columbia. The NANAIMO bar consists of 3 layers, a wafer, nut, and coconut crumb base, a custard icing, and a layer of chocolate ganache on top. And to help things out, I actually have an image that you can refer to of what a NANAIMO bar looks like right over here in the upper left corner. They're definitely the kind of dessert where you can't have too many all at once. It's very easy to OD on these things. Don't make your whole afternoon just shoveling NANAIMO bars down your gullet. We are going to start by making our ice cream. We're going to heat milk, cream, and sugar in a medium-sized pot over medium-high heat on a stove, stirring occasionally until the mixture comes to a gentle simmer. There we go. Now that is a half a cup of sugar. Oops, a little bit of dirt got in there. We're gonna need 1 1/4 cup of heavy cream. I'll try to do it on this side so you can see me pouring it better. And there we go. We're gonna grab 3.25% milk. And so yeah, we're trying to pour 1 3/4 cup of this stuff as well. Oh, it's slightly more than a cup, so I'll have to adjust when we measure out the additional 3/4 cup. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this thing on. It goes up to 7, so I'm going to set it to just under 5. While that's happening, let's go ahead to step 2. Combine the custard powder and egg yolks in a large bowl with 2 tablespoons of milk. We're going to start by putting our egg yolks in here. Let's put in our 1/4 cup of vanilla powder. This is from a brand called Jodis. It's a Greek brand, as I understand it. Yeah, we're good. It's a 1/4 right there. I'm just going to take a moment to mix up our milk mixture just a little bit, make sure it's doing okay. Got to get ourselves 2 more tablespoons of milk. It's 1 tablespoon. It's 2 tablespoons. Oh, kind of a heaping 2nd tablespoon, but it's okay. Let's go ahead and let's whisk up our egg and vanilla pudding mixture. I think this is about as good as we're going to get. Step 3. We are going to slowly add the hot milk mixture to the eggs after it comes to a gentle simmer. Then we pour it back into the pot and then we cook on the stove, stirring for just a short amount of time until the mixture will thicken. I'm going to very carefully whisk this thing up while we slowly add milk in here. Just really making sure I whisk furiously to make sure that we don't get any scrambles. And now with that taken care of, we're going to pour our egg and milk mixture back into the pot. Nightly Neon says, I bet you'll get into all sorts of scrapes and scrambles. I mean, I hope not too many. Not here to cause any fights. We're just here to have ourselves a sweet time. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn the temperature entirely off. And we're going to pour this thing back into the bowl. And there we go. For step 4, add a pinch of salt and our vanilla extract over here to this thing. 1, 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add just a little pinch of salt. There we go. I think that's good. We're going to go ahead and we're going to mix this bad boy up. Step 5, strain through a mesh strainer to remove any bits of cooked egg. Pour into a large container or bowl and press plastic wrap or parchment paper and put it in the fridge. We're going to bring in this porcelain dish and our little mesh strainer. I definitely was not buying for time there because I briefly forgot what the name of the thing is. There we go. I'll do this. Some of it spilled on the desk. Not bad, not bad at all. And there we go. I'm going to go ahead. I don't think we're going to need to use this bowl anymore. I think we've been able to push as much of the stuff through the mesh as we've been able to. Oh, but we forgot about the fact that there's a lot of custard proto ice cream on the underside of it. So let's schlep this into, we're going to actually cut a piece of parchment paper in the shape of the dish we're going to be laying it inside of. This is harder said than done. There we go. Perfect. We're going to also put some plastic wrap so nobody accidentally reaches their hands in there and causes a big old mess. And with that taken care of, our next step is to put this thingamabob in the fridge. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch to our BRB scene, and I will be BRB. And we are back. Step number 6. We are going to start by making our base layer. In a small saucepan over medium heat, we are going to melt 1/3 cup of butter. Then we're going to add in 3 tablespoons of sugar, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and salt, and mix to combine. I actually went and I measured out exactly how much butter we're going to need for this particular section of the stream. And there we go. We need 3 tablespoons of sugar. There we go. Let's get our cocoa powder in there next. And that's 3. While that's happening, we'll just scoot on ahead to step 7. Whisk an egg in a bowl and add to the chocolate mixture. I guess I can probably just reuse the same whisk that I used earlier. I'm just gonna wait for the pot to like heat up ever so slightly more before we add the egg in. I guess while we're doing that, we can probably work on step 8. In a medium-sized bowl, combine the graham cracker and coconut. Pour the hot chocolate mixture and mix until everything is moistened. Is that too much? Nope, just right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to measure our cup of graham crackers. Is this enough? Slightly more than we need, but still pretty good. And with that taken care of, we're going to pour our hot chocolate mixture into our mix of crumbs and coconut. It's time to mix this bad boy up. Seems like it's a little bit more crumbly than it should be. Let's start with a tablespoon of water and see if that brings it up to snuff. Okay, that's a little bit better. Step 9, we need to get a 9x9" baking pan. We're gonna add the base mixture to the bottom and press evenly into the pan, spreading it into the corners. I do have a square 9x9" baking pan, but we are gonna be using that for something else. What that something else is, you'll see that in just a bit. However, I don't have a second one, but what I do have is a 9x9" springform pan. Without further ado, let's spread this stuff in here. And now the fun part, we got to spread this stuff all out and about and push down a little bit with the old handsies. Okay, I think we're good. Step 10 is we're going to get our proto ice cream mixture from out of the fridge. Process the ice cream as per the instructions of our Cuisinart ice cream maker. Evenly spread the ice cream into our prepared pan on top of the base layer, and then we're gonna put this in the freezer. Now here's the deal. Guys, I gotta come clean with something. In the original recipe, basically with our proto ice cream / custard / vanilla pudding mixture that we made a little bit earlier, what we wanna do is we actually want to leave that in the fridge for like over an hour and or like potentially overnight until it's fully cooled. That proto ice cream / vanilla pudding / custard mixture is not fully cooled by now, but ahead of time, I actually made another whole batch. As you can see, it's in a slightly different container than the one that we used for the mixture that we made on stream just a little bit earlier. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna remove the parchment paper, grab our ice cream maker. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna take these things off, and I'm gonna step very briefly off screen so that I can grab our ice cream bowl, which is the frozen bowl that our ice cream is gonna be processed inside of. I'm gonna start putting this stuff in here. Come on, little one. My Cuisinart ice cream maker says that typically you wanna like process your ice cream for like potentially 20 minutes. But what I found in my experience is that it usually takes much less time than that. We're looking more at like 11 to 14 minutes. It's looking like we're getting almost there. I think we're good. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to turn off our ice cream mix. I keep saying ice cream mix or mixture, but what I mean to say is mixer. Mixer, like the abandoned live streaming platform that no longer exists. Ooh, this stuff is, ooh. Yeah, this stuff's good. This stuff's ready. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to put the ice cream on top of the base layer. I'm beginning to realize, actually, the scraper will be good for spreading this stuff around, but what I actually need right now is I actually need another spoon. There we go. This is just what we needed. It's funny, I prepared 4 spoons for today's stream, thinking I probably won't need to use all 4 of them, but lo and behold, I've used all 4 of them, and I've not used any of the 3 forks that I have off camera. There was a like anti-MVP of today's stream, that would be the forks. Spread it around, spread it so that it's all nice and smooth and uniform, at least to the best of our ability. I just put that particular dish into the freezer, but what if I told you, in addition to preparing a batch of the kind of like proto ice cream mixture, custard mixture, vanilla pudding mixture. I also prepared ahead of time an entire other batch of the already frozen ice cream and base layer of chocolate, coconut, and graham cracker crumbs in a 9x9" square pan. I actually did all of that ahead of time, and so the idea is we are going to be melting some chocolate and pouring it on the top of this thingamabob. Step 12, we're going to melt 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips and butter, which is going to be about 2 tablespoons of butter. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be basically doing a double broiler mixture where we are going to be heating this up over our portable burner. We're going to be heating up some water over this, and that water is going to boil. And then on top of this, we're going to have this pan. This pan is where we're going to have our chocolate and a little bit of butter. And basically the idea is the boiling and steam generated by the water will evenly melt the chocolate and butter on top of it. Then we will take out and pour this chocolate mixture over the ice cream layer. It will harden very quickly according to the instructions, so we need to work fast, smoothing out over the top evenly. Place back in the freezer. We're going to do that for just another 5 minutes so the chocolate topping freezes over fully. We're going to take our ice cream bars out of the freezer, cut it up on the cutting board, and we are going to taste test today's creation. So let's see here. We have 250 grams of chocolate chips. We got to eyeball what we think is about half. Yeah, it's a little, I think we'll be fine. Let's go ahead and let's get our butter in here. Just 2 tablespoons of the stuff, so we're not going to need to use this whole block. And that's 4.5 tablespoons. And there we go. You know what? I never really got a chance to just full bore, like properly taste any of the ice cream. Let me get a little bit in here. Pretty good. I mean, it's just like a standard, like custard vanilla ice cream, but pretty good. It does very distinctly remind me of NANAIMO. Our little chipettes are actually beginning to melt a little bit. I'm going to be very careful here because I don't want to accidentally spill our water over. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn off the portable burner. Of course, we're still going to keep the hood range on so it can absorb as much of the steam as possible. We're going to grab our ice cream. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add a little bit of extra butter because maybe that will make it a little bit easier for us to spread it about. All right. This is where we gotta act fast. So we're gonna act fast. Come on, work with me. Please work with me. Don't make this hard on yourself. Okay, well, it didn't go perhaps as perfectly as I would have hoped. Yeah, I thought the chocolate part here was gonna be a lot easier to spread, but it was not easy to spread. I said earlier that we would put this thing back in the freezer. I'm gonna put it back in the freezer for like a minute. I don't think we need to do the full 5 minutes because it looks pretty evenly frozen. We gotta go ahead and we gotta get our ice cream bars out of the 9x9" baking dish. I got an idea. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna grab a piece of parchment paper like such, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna flip this bad boy over onto my hand. And now I'm gonna flip it back over onto our cutting board. Well, that's taken care of. Let's go ahead and let's cut this bad boy up. It's a little bit tough, but we don't need to do a perfect cut. Now we're gonna cut that half in half, make ourselves a quarter, and there we go, perfect. This right here is a beauty. There's only one thing left for us to do. Take ourselves a nice big bite of our NANAIMO ice cream bar and see how it turned out. Okay, so here's what I'll say. Whenever I have the old bog standard NANAIMO bar, not the ice cream variety, the normal variety, I'm very used to the center of the NANAIMO bar, the custardy part of the NANAIMO bar being very overpowering and very silky smooth, tasting just like a good old super sugary pudding. What's interesting about the center filling of the ice cream NANAIMO bar is it's not overly sweet. There's something that I appreciate about it not being overly sweet, about its flavor being a little bit more muted. And as a whole, combined with the chocolate coating on top and the kind of like coconut crumble on the bottom, it really comes together well. I will say, you know, this is ice cream. I took a big bite a moment ago. Probably should not have taken a bite that big. I think something like this definitely benefits from eating a little bit more slowly. I probably didn't need to cut myself a bar that big, but I mean, we made right here a tasty ass dessert on today's stream, and I'm gonna have to try oh so hard to not eat all of it all at once because this thing is going to be tempting.